Hello and welcome to Gaurav's Arena. This is Gaurav Chotnekar and today in this video tutorial we will be learning how to connect a database in Visual Basic. So I will be using the Visual Studio 2017 Enterprise Edition for Visual Basic and I will be using Microsoft SQL Server 2014. So you can use even the JDBC or Microsoft Access DB. I mean DB stands for database, but I will be preferring using a Microsoft SQL Server. So as soon as I start my SQL Server, I will connect to my server. Be sure to remember your server name. My server name is desktop 95720JD. Now I will come back to my Visual Studio and as usual we will be creating a new project. Now the new project window is loading up. So here it is. As usual I will be creating a Visual Basic, Windows Classic Desktop, Windows Form App, .NET Framework, and I will be naming it as tutorial 5. Okay, in the tutorial 5 I will be showing you how to connect to a database and just to drag and drop the components. In the next tutorial, that is the tutorial number 6, I will show you how to add and delete a data and how to parse it, that is how to go to the first, go to last and search it, as no intensive search techniques are available. So let us go for the project to start, and it says it's creating project tutorial 5. It is taking a bit longer than usual, might be because the SQL server has occupied some of the memory. So we have no other option left other than to wait for it. So the project has been created with the name tutorial 5. And so as usual let us rename the form. Okay, so it's quite good to understand that we are running a tutorial 5 form. Okay, now let us have a look whether we are connected. Oh yes, we are connected to our SQL server, that is the desktop 95L20JD. This is the name for my PC. Your name may vary, but I can say it must vary. Okay, so now let us see how to create a database in SQL Server. As in Visual Basic you cannot create a database. Okay, I mean you can create a database, but it is a quite tedious job to do so. So let us create it using SQL Server. So under your server name you have got expandable option named as database. So you can expand it and you can see a system database and database snapshot. So the DB demo is the one created by me. All you have to do to create a database is to right click on the databases option and click on new database. Once a new dialog box appears, you have to give the name to your new database and then click on OK. So the name for my database will be tutorial. Okay, click on OK. Then in the left corner you can see the process is executing and now it is ready. You can see it in the tree. A tutorial file name database has been created. You can right click on it and new query and do whatever you want. Again you can click on the new query here and change it, change the left combo box, that is the drop down option, to tutorial 5 if it's on master. Most of the times it's on the master, so we have to change it to tutorial 5 and then you can execute your basic commands such as that. You can create your tables and all. If you are quite familiar with MySQL or SQL Server, then you can do it from here, else you can do it from the Visual Studio. So now let us try doing it from here. Now first you have to click on the Server Explorer and you have to click on Connect to Server. Then you have to input here your server name which is shown here. So my server name is desktop-95L20JD. So I will type in desktop-925, okay, 95L20JD. Okay, I clicked on OK. So no error has been shown. It means that I have been connected to my server. Now click on connect to database. Okay, as soon as I clicked on connect to database, or add connection option has been shown here. So sometimes it might ask you with this window if you are doing this step for the first time. So that means that you can use Microsoft Access database, ODBC data source, then SQL Server database file, Oracle database, and even it is compatible with few of the other databases. So I will be preferring Microsoft SQL Server and click on OK. Okay, so I have already done that process, and I have told my Visual Studio to use only Microsoft SQL, so it is showing me with this. So here you can either type your server name, which is shown here, or you can click on a drop down menu. If you are lucky enough with that, it will show you your server names as here, or else you have to type it there. Even if it is not visible, you can try it with the refresh option, which will refresh the server list. Then here we have got select or enter a database name. Once again, you have to select it from the drop down menu. Sometimes it takes some time to load this list, but it's okay. After all, it's a computer. Then you can even attach here using the browse. You can use this step if you have access database and you want that data, copy that database from one machine to another machine, then you can use this browse, but I will just choose with this. Then if you want to be sure whether you are going right, that means if your server name has been typed by you manually and even the database name, then you can click on the test connection button, which tests whether this server name do exist or this database name also exists. So we have chosen it from the drop down menu, then you can skip this test connection, but it's better to be sure. So it says test connection succeeded, which means that your database has been connected successfully. Now you can click on OK. So your database connection has been done properly. Now you can see here the desktop 95L20JD, which is your server name, dot your database name, which is tutorial5.dbo. DBO stands for database object. So an object of the tutorial5 from the server desktop 95L20JD has been created. So now you are done with the server explorer. So now let us go to data source. In my previous tutorials, I have told you that we would be learning some of the components from here, that is the binding navigator, binding source, data grid view, and data set. So in this tutorial you will find that we will be using them. So now we have added the connection to in the server explorer. Now let us try to expand it, and we have got tables here. The X mark here says that you are not connected, but even though if you try to expand it, it will get a plus type symbol which says that you are connected. Now to add a table to your database, right click on the tables and click add new table. Now wait for the system's graphical interface to load, which is a quite easy to do interface rather than to add the data using the SQL query of insert, select, and delete, blah blah blah. So it says loading, the design surface is loading, so that it creates some kind of commands. Okay, it creates the command. Basically, if you are familiar with SQL, you know the commands are categorized into three categories: the DCL, the data control language, the DML, the data manipulation language. So you are much familiar with that. Now such kinds of commands will be created here as soon as you enter there. So it is an auto code generation technique. First of all, I will remove this primary key and I would name it as username. And the data type, the name is the column name, the data type is what you require to store, so I would be requiring varchar 50. Okay, this checkbox tells whether to allow null or it should not allow null. So basically username should not allow null, and then I will go for password, so it too should be varchar 50, and this should not allow null. So as you can see here, username column is will be created in varchar 50, that is varchar variable characters will be allowed with the maximum size of 50, and both of them are not null. As soon as I click here on the password to allow null, only the null is kept and the not is there. That means null values will be allowed, but I won't want this. So I remove the tick mark from there. I unchecked the checkbox if you are a bit familiar with the basic components of VB part 2. So now click on the update button in the top left and wait for the database to update. Now it is saying that preparing update script. Once the script is created, click on the update database button. In the left on the background you can see creating update preview, displaying update preview, and all things will be shown here. So now let us click on update database and see it is renamed back, and then it says update complete, but still wait for a few more seconds till this turns green. Okay, now you have been done with it. You can close this from here and then again go to Server Explorer. Now expand the tables furthermore and you will see a table down here. You can also give a name to your table while creating it here. Actually you can give some table name here, but it's okay, you can even change to your create table, debut table, you can change it up here, but now we don't need to do that. Now just right click on table and click on show table data. Okay, so here is your table data shown in columns. So now as we are using only 2 columns and we didn't add any data to it, so we are not getting any data from there. So now let us type something. Here is Gaurav, here is Sudhir. As soon as I move to the next line, the data is added to the database. Now let us check this from here, and we will be doing select star from table. Now let us try to execute it. Okay, the name is conflicting. So the name was conflicting, and hence I put two double inverted quotes at the start and end. Basically table is a keyword, and then it was a bit confused whether to treat it as a keyword or as a name. So I put double inverted quotes to specify that it is a name, and then I clicked on execute. As soon as I clicked on execute, it showed me that it has one row, that is the username as Gaurav and password as Chotmaker. So basically it is my full name. Now let us try it with something here such as ABC and XYZ. The exclamation mark here is the error provider that we have learned, and it says that the value has been changed but hasn't committed yet. So basically you will be familiar with the commit and rollback statements if you are a quite advanced user. If not, then commit is to save the whatever changes we have made, and rollback is to delete the changes and revert it back to the original state. Now once again let us execute it, and here we can find out that ABC and XYZ are there. So basically these both are two different applications, that is the SQL Server 2014 and Visual Studio Enterprise 2017. But even though they are handling only one file, and both the file says that the data has been added. So we are quite good to go from here. In this way you can add your data. To add the data runtime and to manipulate it in the runtime, that is while executing the application. Watch for the next tutorial where you can find how to add the data and how to parse or travel through the all available data for searching and other operations. Now I will show you how to use the data source. Now once again we have to create a data source and click on database and click on next. Then here you will find a tutorial file connection string from my settings. Okay, use that connection string, or you can, no, you don't have any option, but I have already created here so that you can't see this, but it will ask you for a connection string name where you can specify the string name if you can or if you wish. Then click on the tables, views, stored procedures. To be on the safer side, use all of this because you can't predict when you will require the another while developing an application. So I have clicked on finish. Now here I will see get a tutorial dataset 1. Actually the tutorial 5 dataset was created by mistake, but now you can see here expand it and it says it has got a table. Actually the table name is shown here. You can further expand it to see what attributes you have got. Now by having a quite closer look at the icon on the left side of the table, it is a square grid matrix. Now click and drag it to the form and just leave it. So it will just drag and drop a grid like look. Now let us have what it says is we have got a grid like look here, and now let us try to debug it and let's see what happens with this grid like look. So my application has started to build. This is the first build since we have created the project, so it might require a few seconds to get started. Basically the grid view is something that you used to see it in the older SQL versions, and the newer SQL versions has got some looks like this. Basically this is also a grid view of the output. Now we are expecting something like this in the Visual Studio application output. Now it's not changing the window, but it says that it has got ready, and now the diagnostic tools are also starting. That means our application will get executed in a few moments. Now if your connection is correct, that if you are correctly connected to the database, you will get the same output. You can see here I have entered two values. The first one is Gaurav, and the second one is ABC. So these are the two values we have added here. So basically you have been done with it, and you can see n number of rows and n number of columns in this, as you are in a very complex graphical user interface that has been provided by Microsoft Visual Studio in a very easier possible manner. So now you have got here options such as add, new, then delete, save, move last, move next, 3 of 3, then move previous and move first. Actually it's 3 of 3 because I have clicked on the third row. If you clicked on second row, it's 2 of 2 and then 1 of 2. So basically these two rows are only calculated. If you click here then and then, only the third row will be calculated. So we are not much concerned with it. I will show you all of these tools and how to use them in my next tutorial. But before that, let us have a look at another part in the data source. Now click on this drop down option here and click on details. As soon as you click on details, the left side logo has been changed to a square and a circle overlapping each other. So now if you can drag and drop and put it there, you will get something different. But before that, click on username and click on the drop down option. You get a hell list of all the tools which you can prefer for a username. Also you can click on customize if you want to add customized tools, that is something like checkbox, radio button. You can choose it from here. Okay, if I want a rich text box, then I can prefer a rich text box and click on OK. Now I will just drag and drop the table, that is the table name, and I will put it down here. So basically now you don't have to create a label, then a text box, then another text box for the password, then link the both text box to the database to add or delete the data, such things are not required in this newer versions of VB. I think it has been started from Visual Studio 2010 or 12 onwards, so that you don't need to connect a text box. All you have to do is the simple drag and drop method. You have to just change it from here to details and then take it, drag and drop it on your form, and now you are ready to change it. Be precautious that you do not delete them, as they have been linked with it and you can't interchange them too. Now let us again have it executed to see what happens as we try to execute it. So here you can see the first name is Gaurav, the second is Chornekar, and then ABC. If you are not, if you are not visible with this, you can use this to move your data around. So that's it for the data source, where you can just drag and drop easily and start adding your data. To add your data and how to add your data, save your data, then manipulating and parsing your data, please watch my next tutorial on this. The next tutorial too will be on how to connect the database and manipulate the data in it. So that's it for now. I hope I have covered all the topics related in connecting a database in Visual Basic. Okay, before signing off, I would like to highlight that here are the tools from the toolbox in the data section, that is the binding navigator, binding source, data grid view, which we have been using here. So instead of using them from the toolbox and then creating the links and all, it's always better to use it in this way, so that it's easy to just drag and drop and that's it. You are just finished with your task. You don't need any complexity to be done again, so that eases your task, minimizes your errors, and you have many more time left with you to do other things. So finally that's it for this tutorial. Now you can try it on your own to be sure and get perfect on it. Thank you.